What's up, YouTube? I am here from my bedroom, and I am going to be doing a bit of a different video for you guys today. Essentially, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through every single Yu-Gi-Oh archetype that I've played, be it online or in real life. I've got like a script in front of me which I'll be reading off of because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. Today we'll be doing part one, which will be focusing on letters A through to G. And then in part two, we'll be doing the rest of the alphabet because I think that's where the least amount of my archetypes are that I've played on, is in the second half, if that makes sense. Quick disclaimer, I am only going to be talking about archetypes that I have played. I will not be talking about anything that I've seen played. I just want to give my raw, unbiased opinion on how I enjoyed the deck. So it has nothing to do with meta relevance. It has nothing to do with how strong the deck is. It's all about, did I enjoy playing this deck? And yeah, without further ado, I think we're just going to get back into it. So first and foremost, we have Altergeist. This deck just does my head in every single day to this day. It's just mind-numbingly boring to play. It's mind-numbingly boring to play against. And the worst thing is it just keeps getting better and people hate you if you play it. So I'm grading Altergeist a 1 out of 10. Aliens, Synchro Turbo or Control, whatever way you spin it. It's a very old sort of strategy. It's interesting and fun, but wears out after a while, so I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10. Ancient Warriors. This is a new, simple deck that is formidable in its own right. And it also keeps each game fresh and fun, as well as being great going second. So I am awarding Ancient Warriors a 7 out of 10. ABC, I never was a big fan. Generally speaking, it's a lot of doing the same thing, and it really doesn't fill me with any excitement. So I've only given this a 4 out of 10. Atignista, you might have seen a previous deck profile on this channel, or maybe you haven't. It's a fun combo deck that after playing for a while you realise it's actually fucking awful. You can't have fun with a terrible payoff. That's just exactly how it is. 4.5 out of 10. Aesir, or Nordic. It's a one-trick pony that might have stolen games in 2010, even with their Link monster. 3 out of 10. Artifact is a fun little control deck that has an awesome gimmick, but it's normally best served as an engine. But it's pretty fun and cool as a pure deck, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. BES. It's great because it is so bad. It's fun for about 5 minutes, but after that, nah. 4 out of 10. Battle Wasp. It's a fun synchro spam strategy that can benefit from insect and giant ballpark shenanigans. However, it is basically just watered down Blackwing, so I'm only going to give it a 5 out of 10 in terms of my own personal enjoyment. BLS, Blackluster Soldier, is a fun ritual OTK strategy that can really take advantage of chaos monsters, but it struggles playing going first or further than 2 turns, and it does get tiresome after a while, so I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. Blackwings is a classic fan favourite synchro spam strategy that can make formidable plays going first or second with Smorg strategies, but still suffers from a lack of inherent negation and a grind game. It is fun to play, however, so I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. Blue Eyes is nostalgic but bricks like a champion, and it's fun to play, but it's nothing I ever got attached to, so it's only getting a 6 out of 10, but higher than 5. Burning Abyss is a versatile deck that can be played in a plethora of ways, and can still to this day take wins off of the strongest decks. It's incredibly fun to play and promotes a slower paced game, so I'm awarding it an 8.5 out of 10, and I highly recommend this deck to anyone getting into the game or returning. Then we're on to Buster Blader. This is a fun dragon-based strategy with an almost unbeatable lock going first, but it does suffer with consistency issues, and it didn't really work for me in terms of enjoyment, so I'm only giving it a 5 out of 10. Now on to C, we've got Cloudian, which is a classic archetype that can now make great plays, but still suffers with pacing issues and bricking. However, it is one of those enjoyable classics that will give you a good rep with your locals for being that fucking stylish. It's pretty good. So I'm giving that a 7 out of 10. Then we've got Code Talker, so the generic sort of Code Talker Cyburst link with you linking in the hand and stuff. It's pretty linear and it isn't the best in terms of payoff, unfortunately, so I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 10 because I did find it quite boring. Crusadia is a fantastic deck for beginners and can steal games. However, it is way too linear a play style, and the repetitiveness of the plays does really get old fast. So 5.5 out of 10 from me. Crystron, again, it's a bit too complex for my liking. It's a sort of strategy where you synchro summon during your opponent's turn and make advantage off of that. But again, 4 out of 10, don't really enjoy it. Cubic is simple, powerful, but it's also linear, fragile, and promotes draws, which is a bit shitty in my opinion. However, it is more enjoyable than Crusadia in terms of the linearity aspect, so 6 out of 10. Cyber Angel is a fun ritual-based strategy with cool power plays, but it's just mostly become incantation shenanigans or Necros stuff at this point, so I'm only going to give it a 5 out of 10. Here's a bit of a controversial one. Cyber Dragon. It's a classic, fun, epic OTK strategy with great artwork and a variety of plays and text you can utilise. And me and everyone else have very fond memories of this deck, but its popularity in the general Sidra player base has become toxic over the years, probably because despite all of the support they've been getting, they haven't really been able to steal first place tops in like this year at least. Well, there is lockdown, but yeah, it's just not, it's strong, but it doesn't really compete with what's the best at the moment. So 7.5 out of 10. Cyberdark is a Mimi linear dragon machine strategy, which I'm only going to award a 4 out of 10 for. DDD is notorious for being one of the most complex decks ever brought out. It has a stupid amount of combo routes that you will probably still get OTK'd or disrupted through, so 6 out of 10. Pure Danger. It's a broken engine that got hit so much it can never be its own competent shell, so 5 out of 10. Dark Magician / Dark Magician Girls. It doesn't really interest me, but Magician Girls are a pretty cute strategy. It's okay, but in terms of my enjoyability, it just didn't really work. Dark Lord is one of my favourites. It has a very, very cool gimmick, but it does punish you severely if you misplay, so that's 8 out of 10. If you don't know what Dark Lords do, they can use their own monsters' quick effects to shuffle their spell or traps back into the deck to apply their effects, as well as have cool OTK strategies with Morningstar. If you are confused about what the hell I'm going on about, just go back a video or two and you will find the Dark Lord deck profile I did, which is cool. So 8 out of 10 from me. I really like the deck. It's my bias. Well, I did say unbiased, but I'm biased because I enjoy playing Dark Lords. Destiny Hero, Pure. It's about as functional as a broken condom, but it is still fun and can pull off cool power plays, and it's enjoyable, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Now for the brand new Dogmatica strategy, I really like it, and I'm not one for control-based decks. It is strong and competent, but it does have its own drawbacks, so I'm awarding it an 8 out of 10. Dino, absolutely fantastic deck that I really do miss owning. Obviously I had to sell it. Such a cool and powerful strategy. I'm going to award it the first 9 out of 10. I love the deck. Eldritch is a really cool control deck that's basically like Sky Striker with traps instead of spells. The deck itself isn't inherently unfair, but the engines and stuff that it's being spliced with can promote unfair plays, and it will make you be hated almost as much as an Altergeist player. So yeah. Pure Elemental Heroes, consistent fusion summoning but a bit of a glass cannon, 6 out of 10. Element Saber, oh how I weep. It's a fun strategy that becomes less fun when you read its restrictions. This entire deck basically says unless you're able to kill your opponent in one turn, you don't get another battle phase after this, so Endymion Pendulum. It's a really cool and powerful pendulum strategy that puts all its eggs in one basket. It's very cool, but it's also another victim of the ban list, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. FA, it's fun to play with Initial D playing in the background, but other than that it's just meh and was much better when Ancient Fairy Dragon was around, so 4.5 out of 10. Fire Fist, it's a new FTK with this deck and the new Tri-Brigade and sorry, bleh. With the new Tri-Brigade cards. As for Fire Fist itself, it's a very cool combo deck that I miss a lot, but it never really stuck for me, so I'm only giving it a 6 out of 10. Fire King is pretty cool blowing your own stuff up, but the payoff is lackluster compared to other decks that basically do the same thing, so 4 out of 10. Fluffle, a very, very popular Fusion OTK deck that is super fun to play. I'm putting it out there, it's such a fun deck. 8 out of 10. Far Higher functions well, but it is a bit too linear for my liking, so I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. Gadget, it does what it sets out to do, but it gets boring after you realise that Admiral Dynamo doesn't have a quick effect. So 5 out of 10. Gaia is a cool new OTK theme, but it doesn't really appeal to me. I don't really like the sit on one big Chungus and hope for the best aesthetic, like what you had to do with True Draco at some point. But with True Draco, you actually had the back row to back yourself up, which is really cool. Galaxy. I played this deck at a regional a couple of years back, and I miss it like it was my own family, and well, if Legendary Duelist Season 2 comes out and we get the reprints of Photon Orbital that we need, then I'm definitely going to be building this deck again, but until then, I'm just going to have to wait. 8 out of 10. Gimmick Puppet is a really cool Xyz deck that has got some awesome pieces of support recently, and it can utilize rank up magic very well, like Numeron Force, so you can slap Numeron Force down, negate that Dragoon, and just steal it with Gigante's Dole if you want. Have fun with that. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a bit fragile, but it is what it is. Gishki. I enjoy this ritual deck, but it's aged pretty poorly. That being said, it is still cool, and it will get you style points. So there you go, 6.5 out of 10 for Gishki. Gladiator Beast is one of my favourites. It's a classic meta contender that has been given the support it needs. It's an incredibly fun strategy that involves tagging out your monsters, and I love it to this day. So 8.5 out of 10. And finally, to wrap up this part of the video, part 1, we've got Goki. It's linear and powerful, but again, it works well with the code breaker cards that got released in Eternity Code. I don't really have much else to say about it, but yeah. Anyway, guys, that has been my opinions on how enjoyable these Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes have been. Yeah, just bear in mind this has all been read off of a script, so apologies for any inconsistencies in my speaking. As you can tell, I don't really do this a lot. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I just thought I'd bring something a little bit different out to the plate. I know there are a lot of you out there like me that enjoy experimenting with lots of different Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks and archetypes, and try and make the best out of what you've got. Anyway, guys, that's been Alpha Exiles, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.